Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fam 2 Cents cooking video, and today we are making Korean fried chicken, which is one of my favorite recipes in my Asian inspired kind of ventures that I've been going into lately. This is an excellent recipe. I love the sauce that you make that comes with it or whatever. Feel free to pause if you need to see what the ingredients are on these first two slides here. They'll be popping up again, mind you, so you don't have to stop now, but if you want to gather everything together right this moment, you can pause it to check that out. Otherwise, as I said, these are going to pop back up. So the first thing we need to do, step number one, is prepare your flour coating. This coating consists of salt, pepper, baking powder, garlic, onion, and flour. The cornstarch, you'll see where that comes in later. The measurements may vary. I don't really like to get into measurements all that much when I'm doing stuff like breading or whatever, because it really comes down to how much are you using, how much do you need, so you'll be adjusting it based on that. So that's basically what I recommend you do here. If you'd like to follow the recipe to the T, feel free to do so. Just make sure that the amount of chicken that you're cooking matches with that. So this is I think I'm cooking, I think it was about 8 drumsticks. I believe it was 7. It was 7 drumsticks, and they were actually pretty large too. So as I said, just make sure that you adjust your recipe accordingly and you should be fine. Next order of business is to prepare your chicken. Now this is the part where you usually do your egg wash and all that good stuff, but for whatever reason I did not have any eggs, so what I decided to do was use heavy cream. I salted it, or seasoned it with a little salt and pepper, and then I added the cornstarch. This is where the cornstarch comes in, by the way, to mix that up and add a nice little wet mixture there to be able to coat my chicken in the flour, so that way you know, we had some kind of binding agent, and it worked out just fine. It's not something that I typically do. Some people use buttermilk, but I can't stand buttermilk, so I just used what I had. There's a lot of flexibility when it comes to fried chicken. You can kind of do what you want, and this is just another avenue to take. Otherwise, you'll do an egg wash like you normally do. You can season it if you like with a little salt and pepper. In a lot of Japanese or Asian recipes, when they make the chicken, they mix all that stuff together. So it's like the egg in one bowl all together with the cornstarch and everything else, and they mix it up like I'm doing right now, and then they put it in the dry mixture. So this was kind of inspired by that. I don't usually do my chicken that way, but this is how I did it this time. It worked out just fine, so give it a shot if you want to use the method that I used here. If not, you want to just do eggs traditional like you normally do, do that. You know, like I said, you got a lot of flexibility with this. The star of the show is not the chicken, it is the sauce. We'll get to that in a moment. So here we are on the next step, where we're taking our chicken and our wet mixture and putting it into our dry mixture, and you want to toss it pretty rough. Like, you don't want to be delicate with it or whatever. Don't be afraid to, I got gloves on or whatever, because, you know, I don't want to get all that gunk all over my hands, and I know some people got some criticisms about that, but whatever. I prefer things to be as, you know, when it's all over your fingers, it's a little more difficult for me to, you know, toss it properly. But if I have some type of buff or whatever, it's a little easier for me to get my hands messy or whatever, because cleanup isn't too bad. And if I have to go and deal with the baby really fast, I'm not like dealing with raw chicken and having to go deal with her and wash my hands and all that good stuff. So this helps out for my situation. But like I said, don't be shy. Get in there and like coat that chicken. You squeeze it and all that good stuff like that. Make sure that it's on there. You want to make sure it gets in all the crevices and all that good stuff. No need to be delicate. You're not gonna hurt it. And like I said, you sit it on a little side pan or tray and allow it to sit for a while. Any excess moisture or whatever is going to be sucked up into there, and it's gonna create almost like a paste like substance on the outside there. The flour on the outside is gonna like moisten, and then right before you get ready to toss it into the flour, you toss it in there one more time, and that gives you a really nice coating. This works out for me very well, so give it a shot. The next step is pretty straightforward. It's time to fry your chicken. You want to make sure that you have enough oil in your pot or pan or kettle or whatever it is you're deciding to use to fry your chicken in. If you use a deep fryer or whatever, you want to make sure it's completely submerged and you just want to fry it until golden crispy. One thing that I like to do is I'll fry it until it gets pretty much close to the desired color. Take it out at that point, allow the oil to come back up to temp, and then I'll put it right back in there for a final quick flash fry, and that'll elevate it to that level that you really want it to be. It'll keep the chicken still juicy on the inside or whatever, but give it that nice delicious browning on the outside. Works out really well. As you can see here, it is a nice, beautiful color. So now we move to the main event, which is the sauce. It's very easy to make, but there's a lot of ingredients involved in it. So we're gonna start off with some butter and garlic in the pot here. Now pay a little less attention to how much I'm doing, and pay a little more attention to the actual ingredients, like what it calls for up top. Depending on how much chicken you're making, obviously you got to make some adjustments or whatever, but I was very loose with my ingredients, just because of the fact that I've made this a couple times now and I know exactly how I want it and how I want it to taste. If you want to follow the guideline up top, just be mindful that that is for a specific amount of chicken. Probably, if you were making drumsticks, maybe 5 to 6 drumsticks. Thighs, maybe same deal, 4 to 5 to 6 thighs. Wings, you could probably do a pretty decent amount of wings, up to maybe 15 to 20 wings possibly, depending on how you're going to implement the sauce. But lots of stuff included in here. We got soy sauce, we got cayenne, we got gochujang sauce, ketchup, honey, brown sugar, garlic, rice vinegar, and the butter. Now the recipe usually calls for red chilies, but I don't have any red chilies, nor did I feel like really going to the store to buy them, so I figured cayenne would be good enough. If you have red chilies on hand and you want to use those, feel free to do that and sub out the cayenne for it. Nothing else is really subbable in this recipe. You need pretty much everything to make it all come together. Unless there's something you are particularly allergic to, then you can't, obviously you can't use that. I didn't use any ginger in this recipe because Squishy is allergic to ginger, and ginger's found in a lot of Asian recipes, so you'll see quite often I won't use it because I kinda can't. Otherwise, you want to simmer this until it gets nice and thick, or you can leave it thin depending on how you want it, but this sauce is amazing. Now we move on to the final step, which is coating your chicken in the sauce. There's a couple ways you can go about this. You can put it into a large bowl, pour the sauce over all the chicken at once and just kind of stir it over. I prefer the tossing it in the pot and individually saucing them method. It is completely up to you how you decide to do it, and go ahead and just place them on a plate. You can serve this by itself, you can do it with rice or anything like that, and I topped it with some sesame seeds in order to get a nice little beautiful photo shot. Now I know some people were saying that suggesting that I toast the sesame seeds. I didn't remember to do that here, and to be honest, I rarely remember to do that, so I'll probably try that next time. I don't know how much of a difference it'll make, but I guess it'll look nicer or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much to it, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, out of all the recipes that I've made, this is probably one of my absolute favorites and the easiest to execute. You cook chicken basically how you normally do, and just make the sauce, and like I said, there's several ways you can coat it, but it kind of doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's a really thick, sticky sauce, and it's good. It's really, really, really good. So if you've never had Korean fried chicken before, you can make it at home. You don't need to go anywhere special to make it or anything like that. And I made a lot of leftover sauce. I have a lot of sauce left over that I'm gonna sit to the side for another special video I got coming down the road, because when the struggle is real, you have to learn how to reuse things that you've used before, and there's a very simple recipe you can also make with the leftover sauce. As I said, that video will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys, that is Korean fried chicken. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely try this. 100% recommend it. It is an excellent dish. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the next one.